If you go back and look at the fight between Belal Muhammad and Leon Edwards too, Leon Edwards absolutely got dominated. Belal Muhammad beat Leon Edwards in striking and absolutely dominated him when it came to grappling. And if you go back and look at their mindsets before approaching that fight, it was obvious that Leon Edwards was underestimating Belal Muhammad.
But even if wrestling ain't all that really, you know what I mean? You ain't Khabib or like the GSP. It's Belal, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, let's see.
Now, after that, it seems like Leon Edwards went into hiding. We've not heard a word from him, not a peep. And honestly speaking, it's all good because he wasn't really the most entertaining champion anyways. But then, of course, the fight between Leon Edwards and Jack Della Maddalena is set, which was an exciting matchup, striker versus striker. Interesting to see the new generation face pretty much the old generation at this point, which of course I'm talking about Leon Edwards being the older generation. Now, of course, that fight fell through. Shavkat Rakhmonov got injured and he cannot face Belal Muhammad for the welterweight championship belt. Now it's Belal Muhammad versus JDM. And who is the person who replaces JDM to fight Leon Edwards? Of course, Sean Brady. Now, this is very complicated for Leon Edwards because he's had this matchup for a while and he's been training to face someone like JDM. Leon Edwards is an elite striker, no doubt. He's proven that time and time again. So him facing another striker, of course, would have been a fun, favorable matchup for him. How do you go from training for someone like JDM to someone like Sean Brady, who was a grueling, relentless grappler and has been looking better on the feet? That is the complicated thing about this matchup. Leon Edwards is one of the most well-rounded fighters in the welterweight division, a high-level striker with elite distance control. Edwards thrives in technical exchanges, using feints, southpaw counters, and precise kicks. His ability to dictate range makes him a nightmare for aggressive opponents. But what about his wrestling? We've seen Edwards out-grapple people like RDA. At least he held his own in that matchup. Defend well against Kamaru Usman and control fighters in the clinch. He's actually pretty good in the clinch. Yet his biggest struggle has come against relentless chain wrestlers like Usman, who I just mentioned, and of course Belal Muhammad. Pretty much fighters who can force him into defensive mode and wear him down. Now, when we look at Sean Brady, he's one of the strongest grapplers in the division right now. This guy isn't just a wrestler. He's a grinder with suffocating top control, powerful takedowns, and serious submission threats. When Brady gets you down, he stays on you like a glue, making escape nearly impossible. But the key improvement in Brady's game is his striking. Against Michael Chiesa, who of course is not the best comparison, but he did look better than he normally did. We saw Brady mix it up with crisp boxing, landing heavy counters. He looked more comfortable on the feet. His hands keep improving, and that makes him a bigger threat to every opponent he faces, and of course a bigger threat to Leon Edwards. So like I touched on earlier, Edwards' last big test against a relentless grappler like Usman and Belal, of course their second fight got the head kick knockout. That was good. But in their third fight, he actually did good defending the takedowns against Usman. Now, using his footwork and outstriking Usman over the 5 rounds. But against Belal Muhammad, in their first fight, ended in an eye poke. That was cool. Belal was pressuring hard in that fight though. But of course, it ended in an unfortunate manner. But in their second fight, it did not look good for Leon Edwards. In fact, it looked like Leon Edwards did not even deserve to be in that octagon with Belal Muhammad. The reason why I can give Leon Edwards some advantage in this matchup is because he was training for Belal Muhammad, and I'm sure since he lost that fight, he has still been training in the grappling department. But it is complicated because he was focused on his next opponent, who was a striker. Meanwhile, Sean Brady's last fight against Gilbert Burns was pretty impressive. He did good on the feet and dominated Gilbert Burns on the ground as well. He looked like a more improved fighter, and one thing you do have to take account of is the hunger in Sean Brady, and that's going to be a problem for Edwards. We look at the key factors of this fight. In the striking department, the advantage is Leon Edwards. More technical, cleaner in the pocket, and dangerous at range. When we look at the wrestling, of course, we look at Sean Brady. He chains takedowns well and has strong top pressure and stays relentless. I mean, he doesn't stop at all, and that's a problem. Now, if we look at the cardio in a 5-round fight, the advantage goes to Leon Edwards as he's more experienced. Okay, he's been in deep waters multiple times, while Brady's gas tank has been questioned before, but like I said, he did look good against Gilbert Burns. Finally, we get to the fight IQ. Now, normally I would give the slight edge to Leon Edwards because, like I said, he's more experienced, he's more of a veteran, and when you compare their fight record, he has faced more challenging opponents. But Brady is evolving quickly, and one thing I do want to point out is the mindset of Leon Edwards. Ever since he lost to Belal Muhammad in their rematch, it seems like he's been given all the excuses in the book, talking about how his walkout was at 5 a.m. Granted, that's late, but it was also late for Belal Muhammad as well, and as a champion, you are supposed to be training for that, conditioning for that time, being prepared for that. So that's not really an excuse, especially comparing the fact that so many other fighters did the same thing and have done that in the past. He's also made excuses about this back injury that he had, and to be fair, it's mainly his coach who's talked about that. So he's just said a bunch of things that honestly that are just excuses. Now, he's also talked about how he beats Belal Muhammad 10 times out of 10. Like, I don't know if Leon Edwards has a math problem, but you can't say that when you've lost to Belal Muhammad. So I do not like his mindset going to this fight. It seems like he's still bitter losing to Belal Muhammad. I did watch his interview with Ariel Helwani. Now, Ariel, of course, the instigator, was the one asking the silly questions and asking him things like, how do you feel about Belal being champion? And it seems like all he's talking about is Belal Muhammad. He doesn't really talk about Sean Brady and the challenge that he has ahead of him. And just like how he had this attitude against Belal Muhammad, seeming like he was underestimating him, I feel like Leon Edwards is underestimating Sean Brady. He has a very tough challenge in front of him in Sean Brady. And honestly speaking, when we compare their skill sets, we compare their mindset, their fight IQ, their experience, and where both guys are in their career. The big question is, can Brady maintain his wrestling for 5 rounds without gassing out? If he slows down, Edwards would definitely take over. Now, if Brady can get inside, pressure Edwards against the cage, and force him into wrestling exchanges, this fight could look a lot like Belal versus Leon, honestly speaking. But if Edwards keeps the fight at range, uses his footwork, and lands clean counters, which of course he can, he could pick Brady apart on the feet. Will Brady's relentless wrestling break Edwards, or will Edwards prove once again that his takedown defense and striking are on another level? With that being said, I think I'm more confident with picking Sean Brady in this fight. Like I said, he's part of this new generation. He's hungry. He has the perfect tool set for this weight class. And it seems like he has the tools that are considered Leon Edwards' weakness. And that is the relentless wrestling. If we compare Kamaru Usman's wrestling to Sean Brady's, Usman, we all know he has bad knees, and he was past his prime in hindsight when he faced Leon Edwards in the 3rd fight. And of course, he was gun shy as well. We're not even trying to make all those excuses right now. I just feel like Sean Brady is focused. He's been training for strikers throughout his time in the welterweight division as Leon Edwards. Not really the same case, going from training for a grappler in Belal Muhammad to training for a striker in Jack Della Maddalena, going back to training for a grappler in Sean Brady. Now, that is good and bad at the same time, because you can say, okay, he's well-rounded, he's had a well-rounded training at this point, but at the same time, it's kind of complicated going back and forth on what type of matchup to focus on. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Sean Brady having a dominant decision. Honestly speaking, it might be close, but I don't think it will be. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who do you guys think will win this fight? How do you feel like their mindsets are? Is there anything you push back on what I said? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please like the video, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.